Hi, I'm Isaac Elliott, attorney for Booz Supplies, and I want to outline the main points of my client's position so that we can come to an understanding and hopefully a quick resolution. I know that neither party wants to litigate here, and Booz puts significant value on its relationship with Liquor Lose and would like to preserve the contract here and also continue its relationship with Liquor Lose if possible. To that end, Booz is prepared to ship replacement bottles, although UCC 2-508 is clear that sellers have no obligation to cure defects. Booz recognizes that this contract is not an installment contract and that Liquor Lose therefore has a right under UCC 2-601 to reject the entirety of the goods for a nonconformity of any kind, regardless of the degree of nonconformity. However, it is Booz's position that although Liquor Lose legitimately rejected the goods tendered by Booz, Booz has a right to cure the nonconforming goods, and that if these goods are found to conform to the contract upon inspection, Liquor Lose will be in breach if they do not accept them. Booz's position is grounded in UCC 2-508 Subdivision 2, which states that where the buyer rejects a nonconforming tender which the seller had reasonable grounds to believe would be acceptable, with or without money allowance, the seller may, if he seasonably notifies the buyer, have a further reasonable time to substitute a conforming tender. Here, although Liquor Lose rejected a tender that did not conform to the contract because several bottles were broken, Booz had reasonable grounds to believe that the goods would be acceptable to Liquor Lose. Out of the 1,200 bottles of wine shipped to Liquor Lose, only 12 bottles were broken. This means that Liquor Lose received 1,188 bottles, which is exactly 99% of what they expected to receive. In the liquor industry, it is well known that any transportation of bottles is accompanied by a risk that some bottles will break. It has been a regular practice in this industry that any amount of breakage that does not exceed 1% of the total bottles is acceptable, so Booz had no reason to believe that this usage of trade would not be observed by Liquor Lose as well. The fact that it is common practice within the industry for buyers to accept shipments of liquor in which 99% or more of bottles are suitable for sale gave Booz reasonable grounds to believe that their goods would be acceptable if they conformed to this usage of trade. Booz also seasonably notified Liquor Lose of its intention to substitute the rejected goods with a conforming tender. Goods were tendered to Liquor Lose on May 31st, and the goods were rejected that same day. Booz wrote back immediately, saying that replacement bottles would be delivered by June 4th at the latest. Booz's notification of intention to tender conforming goods was sent immediately after receiving notice of rejection, and goods would be tendered within 4 days of this notification, so there is no doubt that the provisions of UCC 2-508 requiring seasonable notification and tender of a substitute within a further reasonable time are satisfied here. If Liquor Lose rejects Booz's position and insists that Booz did not have reasonable grounds to believe the goods would be acceptable and cannot cure under UCC 2-508 subsection 2, Booz still has an unconditional right to cure under UCC 2-508-1. This subsection states that where any tender or delivery by the seller is rejected because it is non-conforming and the time for performance has not yet expired, the seller may seasonably notify the buyer of his intention to cure and may then, within the contract time, make a conforming delivery. Here, although the contract called for delivery by June 1st, goods were tendered on May 31st. All correspondences, including the discussions we are having at this moment, have occurred before June 1st. If Liquor Lose refuses to accept a replacement shipment by June 4th and insists that Booz has no right to cure, then Booz will ship the replacement goods overnight and Liquor Lose will have to accept these goods if they are found to conform, or they will be in breach of the contract.